The second reason that I put the hijab on was because I wanted to physically look Muslim. I don't even look like Hispanic anymore. I don't look like a Mexican anymore. And when people started like confusing me as like an Arab lady. Hi, assalamu alaikum. I grew up going to Catholic church. I grew up going to a Catholic school up until middle school. I was an altar server. My family and I would go to church every single Sunday. We would not miss. And even after my parents got divorced, I would be the one who would still go with my dad on Sundays to Sunday church. On my dad's side of the family, they're very Catholic. So my dad is a devout Catholic, 100%, as well as my grandma, and I hold really close relationships with both of them. And again, because I would still go to church with my dad on Sundays sometimes after my parents' divorce, it's something that my dad and I bonded on. We bonded on religion. But I chose to still convert for the following reasons. I knew that it was something that I was 100% sure of. It had brought me so much peace, it had brought me so much comfort, and it gave me a sense of belonging and a sense of direction, and that's what I needed for the longest. I had complete faith in Allah that He would make it work for me, that He would open doors for me, move mountains for me in order to practice this religion peacefully and in order to still hold those relationships with my family. Not only my family, but my friends as well. And Alhamdulillah, He did just that. But I'm telling you that if He's already placed this sense of, oh, I should convert, or oh, I want to convert, then He's already opened your heart. So you're more than halfway there. And inshallah, God willing, He makes it easier for you. So I want to talk to you ladies about when I put the hijab on and why I put it on and all of that good stuff. So after doing some research on what hijab means and why as Muslim women we wear it, I knew that I was very close to putting it on. The first reason that I decided to put on the hijab has been and will always be because Allah mandated us to do so. It is obligatory to wear the hijab in Islam as a woman. The second reason that I put the hijab on was because I wanted to physically look Muslim. I knew that as soon as I put on the hijab, people were going to be able to recognize me as a Muslim woman. I put the hijab on about 2 to 3 months after I converted. And I knew that by doing this, people around me, like my friends and my family members, were going to take my decision of converting to a different religion seriously. They were going to recognize the fact that I was not just, saying, oh, I'm Muslim now. No, like I am taking my religion seriously. It's something that I'm devoted to. And look, I really am really devoted to it. And I'm not saying that if you don't wear the hijab, you're not devoted to your religion. No. I'm just saying that as a convert, it was like a big step towards my religion, and it was a big step towards having people around me take me seriously as a Muslim. And honestly, it did just that. As a convert, it is very difficult for those around you to grasp the idea that you are not going to be participating in a lot of things anymore, that you are not going to be doing a lot of things that you used to do. And it's okay because they probably don't understand, but it was like my job to set those boundaries, and it was my job to educate them on what I wasn't going to do anymore. And honestly, as soon as I put the hijab on, it made it so much more easier because they understood the gravity of my religion. They understood how seriously I was taking it. So yeah, my top 3 reasons were because Allah commanded us to do so, because I wanted people to physically view me as a Muslim woman, and because I wanted to stay away from haram and to keep myself out of those situations. And Alhamdulillah, it's been going very well, and I've almost been wearing it for an entire year, and I'm so happy. But yeah, thanks for listening. When I first put on the hijab, initially I didn't have like that feeling like I was an outsider within the Latino community. I just had like an identity crisis, but it was because for 23 years of my life I didn't look this way. I didn't wear the hijab, so that was why I had that identity crisis at first. And it wasn't until maybe a month or two in where I was like, oh god, I have the hijab on, I don't even look like Hispanic anymore, I don't look like a Mexican anymore. And when people started like confusing me as like an Arab lady, where I was like, I'm Mexican. But I do think that as Latina hijabis or Latina Muslims, we owe it to ourselves and shifting this narrative a little bit. And I'm not saying this to discredit anyone's feelings regarding this topic, because like I said, me myself, I've been guilty of feeling this way, right? I've felt this way before. But I feel like it's an important thing that we have to start doing within our community. And that is just starting to accept the fact that there are hijabi Latinas, right? And I think for ourselves as Muslims, like that's something that's simple, but those around us, that might be a little bit more difficult. And I think that's where we start feeling like an outsider, right? But Alhamdulillah, the Latino and Latina community within Islam is growing so rapidly, and you're starting to see a lot more Latina hijabis, a lot more Latina Muslims. And within time, it's not going to be taboo anymore, inshallah. Within time, you're going to be seeing a lot more Latina Muslims, a lot more Latina hijabis. I think that it is something beautiful to be able to represent your community as a hijabi. And I think that it is something that you should be carrying with pride and grace. And it's a blessing. It's very important to shift your mindset in order to kind of help with these feelings of feeling like an outsider or feeling like you're not part of your community anymore, to feeling grateful and feeling blessed and being able to represent Islam within your community as a hijabi. And inshallah, with time, we're going to be seeing a lot more Latina hijabis and a lot more Latino and Latina Muslims. And it is one of the fastest growing communities. Even in Chicago, we have a big Hispanic community that is Muslim, Alhamdulillah. Now I don't really feel like an outsider, and I don't really view it that way anymore, or like I don't really view it as me not being Mexican enough. I just feel extremely blessed and extremely grateful to be able to represent Islam as a Latina hijabi.